How you all doing? I take it you're wondering why I'm here at all. Well, it's Gordon Mackay's fault. Gordon phoned me the other night and said, I've had a great idea. I'd love to do a feature showcasing artists that have been involved with Cruden Bay Folk Club over the years, past and present, and just to give folk a wee insight into where it all comes from. So I'm privileged to say Gordon asked me to introduce this guy to you, who I don't know how many you'll have heard of him, but hopefully you'll know about him after tonight. A guy called Davie Speirs. So you'll be saying to yourselves, okay, how do we go about this? Well, it's simple. If you go onto the Folk Club website, and on the home page at the top of the screen, you'll see a series of drop-down menus, and there's one that's labelled Spotlight. If you click on that, before your very eyes up pops a series of icons, and if you scroll down them, there's one near the bottom that says Davie Speirs, Man of Constant Sorrow. If you click in that, in there are two recordings that Davie made. Back in the day we used to call them albums, and the first one is Man of Constant Sorrow. It was recorded by Davie on the Beltone Sword label and released by them in the late 60s. And the second one is called the Roffey Park Tapes, and it was recorded in Davie's front living room by a sound engineer for the BBC, and that was recorded in the early 70s, and it contains a lot of Davie's favourite songs and pieces. So these two come with extensive sleeve notes, so I'll not tell you too much about it. I'll just say go in and explore these at your leisure, listen to the tunes, read the sleeve notes, and that'll give you a good insight as to the type of man Davie Speirs was. So, with that in mind, who was Davie Speirs, right? Well, Davie was born in 1941, and unfortunately he passed in 2009. But Davie, he was born and bred in Paisley, and in the 60s he was earning his living as a painter and decorator, supporting his wife and two young kids, giving guitar lessons at night, which at some point I thought was half a Paisley, and he was singing at the weekends in clubs and such like, and over and above that he was running a folk club, right? So that's a potted history of Davie. How I met Davie, basically one of my pals had a guitar and was going to Davie for lessons. So eventually when my turn came for me to get a guitar, he gave me his phone number, and a week later I turned up on his doorstep hoping he could turn me into the next Mark Bolan. But after a week with Davie's tutelage, I discovered I wanted to be the next Don McLean or James Taylor. Such was his influence on you. And learning the guitar with Davie was great. He was a good teacher. He had a good way of imparting the knowledge, but it wasn't just the guitar teaching, it was the songs, it was the politics of the day, it was living history. You know, I thought it was great. Anytime you went to Davie's, you come back enriched, you know. And once we got a few tunes under our belt, it was onto the folk clubs. And the folk club model way back in the 60s and certainly in the central belt of Scotland was way different to what it is now. Folk music was booming. You had a folk club once a week, not once a month, and the basic model was you hired a room in a pub or a hotel, you stuck somebody on the door and charged admission. And the way it worked was, if you turned up with an instrument, the format of the evening was the first half of the evening, people that turned up with instruments and could do a tune, get in for free, everybody else paid. The second half of the evening was set aside for the headline act, who would generally be somebody quite good, and the money generated for the door was what paid for the headline act. But there wasn't a lot of money in that really, and some of these bands were coming from far and wide, or solo artists, whatever, you know, and they were the names at the time, you know. And as I say, they were paid their fee for the money at the door, but there was no money for hotel rooms for these people or anything like that, you know. So invariably, part of the deal was a couch for the night somewhere, and that's how it all happened. But if there's a decent act on the club, it was generally Davie's couch they ended up on, which meant after the folk club, the party was back at Davie's, and his long-suffering wife Myra was great. He'd turn up unexpectedly, a troop of people march into the living room, and Myra was expected to go and make supper for however many people turned up. It was a great education for me. But the people walking in the door were amazing, you know. One night you'd be sitting beside Billy Connolly or Martin Carthy, or all the great and good that the folk scene at the time ended up in Davie's living room at one point or another. So for a young guy like me, what an education it was. It was great, you know. And these are the things I remember about Davie, and I'm sure there's countless other Davie Speirses out there in different parts of the country having done the same thing. But if it wasn't for guys like that, there wouldn't be half the folk music going just now. And it's really important that we keep that going, you know. Okay, in a different shape and form now, and with the multimedia we've got now, it's great, you know, we've got such an advantage. But if it wasn't for guys like Davie, what I'd call the unsung heroes, there'd be no legacy to hand over. So here's to Davie, and I'll shut up and let you enjoy him. Right, okay, thanks very much. Bye.
Oh, had I a golden thread and needle so fine, I would weave a magic strand of rainbow design, of rainbow design. In it I would weave the bravery of women giving birth. In it I would weave the innocence of children over the earth, of children over the earth. Far across the waters I would stretch my magic band to every foreign city, to every single land, to every single land. Show my brothers and my sisters my rainbow design. Bind up this sorry world with hand and heart and mind, with hand and heart and mind. Oh, had I a golden thread and needle so fine, I would weave a magic strand of rainbow design, of rainbow